This is Yvonne Sims. In this episode of Strong and Courageous, I'll be featuring DaNia King, a fearless woman. Now hear from DaNia how she overcame tremendous adversity with fearless grace.
My name is DaNia King, and I am fearless, tenacious, and unstoppable. In my life, I've had to endure various challenges, from being comfortable in my own skin, being a very dark-skinned female, and having a abundance of fair-skinned women in my family, and being the first grandchild that was dark-skinned. And I've also had to deal with situations, not just with people, but outside of my family, but people in my family. And it's hard enough dealing with people outside of your family, but to have to deal with things and situations in your family is a whole nother monster. To have to get yourself to a point where you just forget about their comments and just learn that you have to love yourself, because you're perfectly flawed and it's okay. I can honestly say the unconditional love from my mom and just developing my relationship with God that has totally helped me be comfortable in my skin. Self-image, it's yourself. You have to look at yourself. You have to be your best self. And you have to really get to a point where you have to love on yourself, and you have to know that God loves you so much that He made you the way you are for a reason. Some people are thin because it's something that a thin person has to do that a more curvy person can't do, or something that a more curvy person needs to do that a super thin person can't do. You know, you just really have to dig deep within. And I'm not saying that I perfectly love everything about me, how I look, but I am in love with me. Let's not, forget that I do love me. And I actually wouldn't change anything about myself. I've learned to dress properly, and there are things that there are so many resources out there that will help you kind of tweak the little things that you don't like, the little pudge here, it's makeup if you want to do some shading. But the bottom line is I really, really dug deep into developing my relationship with God. And He showed me that if you could only see yourself, daughter, the way I see you. If you could only love yourself the way I love you. If you could only just see how wonderful you are, because I made you that way. And it's not an easy thing to do. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, but you have to put the effort in. You have to, every day, I stand in the mirror and I look at myself. And a lot of times I say, "Oh, girl, you're cute. Oh, why you wear lip gloss?" I do things like that just because. And you have to encourage yourself. I'm not big-headed or anything, but I encourage myself, because if I don't, why should I expect anybody else to? I have a son, and he has autism. And the doctors told me that he would never talk. He would not have fine motor skills. And they basically just wanted me to okay, you need to go into the government and get a check from the system and take him to Disney. That was unacceptable. Everything that you need, you have to draw from within. Every bit of anything that you may have, your blood, every sweat, tears, everything that God has given you to push forth and do the work, do the research. And everything doesn't work for everybody, but once they labeled him with autism, I got on the internet, I found out everything I needed to find out, and I just wasn't accepting it. And it was a journey that I guess if I had to live it again, I would, because I see the results now. He has just grown so tremendously. He has prospered. I mean, the help of my husband also. But in the beginning, before I was married, he's my son from my first marriage. And my first husband didn't quite understand what autism was. And he just wasn't in a place that he could wrap his mind around this child having this difference about him, because I don't call it a disability, because he is so wonderful and just so talented, but the work had to be done. So in the beginning, I did the work by myself because we eventually divorced. In the beginning, I did the work by myself along with the help of my mom and a few teachers from the school system. But once I met my husband, my current husband, he was very instrumental in helping him adjust to certain things that a male needs to be doing. He brought that male perspective of certain things of opening the doors and certain things that he would not be able to get away with me. He just used to just use it to his advantage, and I would melt like a little just ice cream cone, because I was just so, he was my baby, but my husband, he basically stepped in and created that balance of, he's your baby, and yes, he has something that's different about him, but we need to prepare him for a future. So he was instrumental in helping him become more, walk into manhood. And we both just were really just really vicious with getting him to read and teaching him. And now he's in the 9th grade in high school. And he's doing well. He's very high functioning. You just cannot give up. God is just so amazing. I just cannot stop saying it. He just really, I know now that he put that down inside me to be that parent, because I used to wonder, Lord, why did you give me this child with these things that I don't know about? But he knew that I had it in me to help him. And when he first started having the issues, there was no name for it. It wasn't named autism. But he's a kid that rocks, and I love him, and just God is good, and he has really come a long way. Being around strong people, I totally believe in keeping a camp of individuals around you and in the midst of you that will pull the best from you and encourage you and lift you up. You can't be around people that are constantly beating you down, banging you down, and expect to rise. You can't rise when you have people that are pulling you down around you. We're set apart for a reason, and my competition is only me. I compete with myself every day. Every day I say to myself, you have to be better than you were the day before. I keep my eyes on me. I do what's for me. I'm so comfortable with myself. I see other people and I definitely congratulate them, and I love when people do well. But I know it may be cliche now, what God has for me is for me, but it is a true statement. You're designed for a specific reason, and your goal in life is to search out that purpose. And the stronger you build your relationship spiritually, your purpose and your path will be made clear.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Strong and Courageous. I'm your host, Yvonne Sims. To hear more stories of strength and courage, visit my website at YvonneSims.com or my Facebook page at Yvonne Sims. Until next time, beloved, be strong and courageous.